Hey everybody, it's Angela Molson352 back with one more process video, and this is one of the granddaughter. This is a picture I took of her sleeping on Thanksgiving, totally oblivious to all the noise and all the people around her. And it was inside, so the lighting wasn't that great, and so the quality of the photo came out a little bit grainy and the colors really kind of washed out, but I loved the look of that. It looked very vintagey. So I'm going with this Bo Bunny Noteworthy ephemera pack that I had, and I have a piece of Oh Darling crepe paper for the background, and this is just going to be a really quick, simple layout. I'm just going to use all those ephemera pieces to go down the right hand side of the photo, and that's going to be pretty much it. So it's a really simple layout, especially with a larger photo like this. I'm not going to matte the photo, so I'm going to ink it somewhat heavily with this vintage photo because the browns just went really well with the kind of browny tones of the photo. And then there's brown in those embellishments as well. So I'm just going to layer some under and some over and kind of see how I want it. And now I'm going to start tacking it down. And I'm going to sew down through the center of all these pieces. So I'm just going to put my adhesive to one side where I know my sewing machine needle's not going to go, because I don't want to gum up my sewing machine. So I'm putting that bigger piece toward the bottom with where the title's going to go. And then it's just going to be a bunch of flowers and butterflies and that kind of geometric piece there sticking out just as the background. And so I'm just pointing some of the butterflies up, some of them down, some of them have a little bit of black on them. So I'm kind of just distributing that evenly throughout the column, overlapping things. And I'm just going to use white thread, so nothing special. And I'm kind of liking this, so I'm going to take it to my sewing machine and just I go down through the center of that about 3 times, and then I'm just trimming off the ends, and I'm going to tape it on the back to keep it from unraveling. And I'm also going to put a little dab of glue on the front that'll dry clear to keep that from unraveling. And so I like it because it holds it on. Although I've got it glued down in places, there's still other spots where it kind of flutters up there. You can see not everything is adhered all the way down. And so I'm really liking this. And I put my stuff away. I do go back to it here later because I want a few things to go over that stitching. So I'm looking for some wording that I can use. And that is the Nob Hill or Market Street. I think it's Market Street ephemera pack. And it has some touches of gold in it. And that's kind of what I was looking for, was a little bit of gold. But I couldn't really find much. I liked that banner, but I already had one banner down there and it looked funny to stack 2 of them together. So I thought, what other ephemera pack has gold? So I start looking through, and I know that Maggie Holmes does. So I've been meaning to label these little sandwich containers that I put my ephemera in, because I put like several collections of Heidi Swapp in one bin and some Maggie Holmes in another, American Crafts in another, and I've been meaning to label them and I never have gotten to it, so I have to kind of rummage a little bit. And this is the Notes and Things collection, and it does have some gold in it. And then these are some Kaiser Craft ones that I got that are just really pretty. I hope to use those here soon. Going through these, but there's not much gold in them. So I find that one, but I think it says Simply Darling and it has the gold, but it's just too red and not pink. So I put those away, go back to this notes and things, and pull out a few things that might work on that. And there were some vellum pieces in here too. And one of those caught my eye. So I'm just kind of pulling out all the things I think might work. And I just, want a couple things that I can layer over the stitching. I like the special delivery, but it's a little big and in your face. And I want something a little more delicate. So I go with that little tiny piece that says Grateful for You, and this little vellum label to help kind of draw your eye to such a small piece of wording, because this is going to be pretty much my title. So it's going to be a tiny little title. But with the banner and that label, it kind of draws your eye down there. So I'm liking that. And, it's good that I want to journal on this, that it was Thanksgiving. So Grateful for You is a good title for that. I pull out a little burlap bow to put on there to add a different texture. And then I still hadn't found anything to go over that stitching. So I remember there were 2 more butterflies that I didn't use. And so I go ahead and put them up on foam tape and add them over the stitching so that it breaks up that stitching line just a little bit. So I put one up there, and then I think I put the other one toward the center. Yep, and it's just so that there are some things that are over the stitching and some things that are under. And then the last thing I'm going to add are some enamel dots, and I'm looking for some pinks and greens that'll work. So I find that soft pink and I find that one green. I keep looking through, and then I find that green, and I don't realize at the moment that they're exactly the same. I think I bought them, I think they're Christmas ones, and I bought them when Michaels had their Christmas stuff. When they were blowing it out last year. So whenever they blow out Halloween or Christmas or any kind of enamel dots, I go ahead and get them, because I think that the 50 or 60% off of them is about the right price that I would want to pay for those. I just can't see paying full price for enamel dots. So since I'm not going to mat this layout, I decide to, like my photo, just edge it heavily with the vintage photo. And then that is pretty much my finished layout. It went together really fast. So it was a great way to use up a whole bunch of ephemera out of an ephemera pack, and, without making the layout look too cluttered, and using a large photo like that, especially a photo that is somewhat vertical in presentation. It kind of helps divide your page into thirds. And so you've kind of got 1/3 of photo, 1/3 of your embellishments, and then 1/3 of white space from your background paper. So that is the finished layout. And if you have any questions or comments, just leave them below. Thanks for watching. Bye.